Emily Carter sat curled up on the living room couch, her textbooks open but unread. The clock on the wall ticked softly, 9:42 p.m. Her father should have been home by now. She glanced at the front door, half expecting to hear the familiar jingle of keys and the deep bark of Rex, her father's canine partner. That was their routine. Every night, Officer Daniel Carter would walk in, unclip Rex's harness, and let the German Shepherd race straight to Emily for his usual belly rub. But tonight, the house was silent. Emily's mother sat on the other side of the room, her hands wrapped around the half-drunk cup of coffee, staring at her phone like she could will it to ring. Late shifts weren't unusual. Delays happened, but something about tonight felt different. Then came the knock. 3 sharp raps against the wooden door. Emily's mother inhaled sharply and stood, her face suddenly pale. Emily's stomach tightened as she watched her mother slowly walk toward the door. She gripped the armrest of the couch, her heart hammering in her chest. The door swung open, revealing 2 uniformed officers standing in the porch light. Neither spoke at first. That was all it took for Emily to know. Her mother let out a shaky breath. No, please tell me he's okay. One of the officers, a man with graying hair and tired eyes, removed his hat. Mrs. Carter, I'm so sorry. Emily felt the air leave her lungs. The words that followed felt distant, like they were being spoken underwater. Officer Daniel Carter. Line of duty. Armed suspect. Didn't make it. Her mother collapsed onto the floor with a strangled sob, her hands covering her mouth. Emily couldn't move, couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. This wasn't real. Her father was supposed to walk through the door any minute now. He was supposed to ruffle her hair and tell her about his shift, about how Rex had chased down another bad guy. This wasn't how tonight was supposed to go. Then she heard it, whining. Rex. She turned her head slowly, her vision blurred by tears. The German Shepherd stood at the hallway entrance, ears perked, tail low. His dark eyes flicked between Emily and the officers at the door, as if waiting for his handler to step inside. But Daniel Carter wasn't coming home. Emily pushed herself off the couch, sinking to the floor beside Rex. He let out a soft whimper, pressing his cold nose against her cheek. She wrapped her arms around him, holding on as tight as she could. Her father was gone, and nothing would ever be the same again. The days after her father's funeral blurred together. The house felt empty without him, but Rex stayed close, never leaving Emily's side. At night, he slept by her bedroom door. During the day, he sat by the front window, ears twitching at every sound, waiting for his handler to come home. But Daniel Carter wasn't coming home. Emily spent hours with Rex, running her fingers through his fur, whispering to him about her dad, about how much she missed him, about how she didn't know how to move forward. Rex wasn't just a police dog. He was family. Then the letter arrived. Emily found her mother standing in the kitchen, a piece of paper clutched in her trembling hands. Her face was pale, her eyes red from crying. Mom. Emily's stomach twisted. What is it? Her mother inhaled sharply, gripping the counter for support. It's about Rex. Emily's heart pounded. What about him? Her mother swallowed hard. He's being put up for auction. The words hit like a punch to the gut. Emily blinked, certain she had misheard. What? The department? They're selling him. Her mother's voice cracked. They say he's government property. Emily felt like the floor had disappeared beneath her. They can't do that. He's ours. He belongs here. Her mother set the letter down on the table, her hands shaking. They don't see it that way. Since he's still a working dog, they'll auction him to the highest bidder. Emily's chest tightened. She glanced at Rex, who sat by her feet, watching them with those deep brown eyes. He had spent years by her father's side, protecting him, saving lives. Now, after everything, they were just going to sell him off like an object. No, Emily whispered, shaking her head. I won't let them. Her mother let out a tired sigh. Honey, these auctions, they aren't small. Police dogs go for tens of thousands of dollars. Security firms, private buyers, we can't afford that. Emily's hands curled into fists. I don't care how much it costs. I'm not letting them take him. Her mother gave her a sad smile and reached out, tucking a loose strand of hair behind Emily's ear. I know how much he means to you. Emily's throat burned, but she refused to cry. Instead, she knelt beside Rex, running a hand over his head. He leaned into her touch, letting out a soft huff. She had already lost her father. She wouldn't lose Rex too. Determination burned in her chest. If they were going to auction off her father's partner, she would fight for it, no matter what it took. Emily sat at the kitchen table, her father's badge in one hand, the auction letter in the other. The words on the page blurred as her mind raced. They were selling Rex. Unless she could come up with the money, he'd be gone forever. She turned to her mother, desperation in her voice. How much do police dogs usually sell for? Her mother hesitated before answering. It depends. Some go for $10,000, $20,000, maybe more. Emily's stomach dropped. She had been expecting a big number, but hearing it out loud made her chest tighten. We don't have that kind of money, her mother said softly, her expression pained. Even if we sold the car, even if we... Emily shook her head. No, I'll find a way. Her mother sighed. Sweetheart, I love that you want to fight for him. But I have to fight for him. Emily's voice came out sharper than she intended. She took a deep breath, softening her tone. He's not just a police dog. He's Dad's dog. You know that. Her mother's eyes filled with tears, but she nodded. I know. Emily turned to her laptop and started searching. Fundraising, she mumbled to herself. Charity campaigns. GoFundMe. Her mother frowned. You think people will donate for this? Why wouldn't they? Emily looked up, fire in her eyes. Dad gave everything to this town. People loved him. Rex saved lives too. Someone out there will care enough to help. She worked late into the night, setting up a fundraiser titled, Help Me Save My Dad's K9 Partner. She poured her heart into the description, explaining how Rex wasn't just a police dog, he was family. She uploaded pictures of Rex sitting by her father's patrol car, videos of him playing in their backyard, a picture of him resting his head on Emily's lap after the funeral. By the time she posted it, exhaustion was waning on her, but she didn't care. She checked it every few minutes, but no donations came in right away. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, anxiety curling in her stomach. What if no one cared? What if there wasn't enough? Her phone buzzed. A notification. $50 donated. Her heart leaped. Someone had given money. A few minutes later, another came in. $20 from a former officer. Then another. $100 from a family friend. Emily covered her mouth, overwhelmed. It was working. But as she looked at the goal amount, $20,000, she knew this was only the beginning. She had started the fight. Now she just had to win it. Emily woke up the next morning to the sound of her phone buzzing nonstop. Her heart pounded as she grabbed it, eyes widening at the flood of notifications. $250 from a local business. $500 from an anonymous donor. $50. Officer, Carter was a hero. His partner belongs with his family. Her fundraiser was gaining traction. People were donating. People cared. She ran to the kitchen, nearly tripping over Rex, who looked up at her with curious eyes. Mom, look at this. She shoved her phone toward her mother, who squinted at the screen before covering her mouth in shock. Oh my God, she whispered. It's really working. But even as excitement bubbled in Emily's chest, reality weighed heavy on her shoulders. They had only raised about $2,000 so far. Nowhere near enough. She needed to do more. She spent the rest of the morning calling local businesses, explaining her story to anyone who would listen. Some politely declined, but others stepped up. A diner promised to donate part of their weekend earnings. A small bookstore set up a collection jar at their counter. Then the biggest break came. That afternoon, as Emily was scrolling through social media, she saw a message request from a name she didn't recognize. Hi, Emily. I'm a reporter with Channel 7 News. We'd love to do a story on your fundraiser. Are you available for an interview? Her heart nearly stopped. The news. If they covered her story, more people would see it. More people would help. She responded immediately. The next day, a camera crew arrived at her house. Emily stood outside with Rex, nervously rubbing his fur as the reporter adjusted her microphone. "So, Emily," the woman began, "tell us why this fight is so important to you." Emily swallowed, then looked straight into the camera. "Because Rex isn't just a police dog. He was my dad's best friend. He was there the night my dad didn't come home. And now they're trying to take him away. I can't let that happen." By the time the news segment aired that evening, the fundraiser had exploded. Donations poured in from all over the country. Comments flooded her page. "No officer's family should have to fight for their canine partner. I donated. Rex belongs with Emily. Let's make this happen. $1,000 in honor of Officer Carter. He was a hero." Emily watched the numbers climb. $5,000, $8,000, $12,000. Hope surged through her. For the first time, she truly believed she could win. But then, a gut-wrenching email arrived. It was from the police department. "Dear Ms. Carter, we wanted to inform you that a private security firm has already expressed interest in purchasing Rex. The bidding may go higher than originally expected." Emily's heart pounded. They weren't just fighting for Rex. They were fighting against people with deep pockets, and they weren't going to make this easy. Auction day arrived faster than Emily wanted. The morning air was thick with nerves as she stood outside the police department, gripping Rex's leash. He sensed something was wrong. His ears twitched, and he kept glancing up at her, waiting for a command that never came. Emily's mother placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "No matter what happens, we fought for him." Emily swallowed the lump in her throat and nodded, but losing wasn't an option. Inside, the auction hall buzzed with quiet chatter. Rows of chairs filled the room, occupied by people in business suits and uniforms. A large screen displayed pictures of the canines up for sale, each with a bidding number beside them. Rex's name was near the bottom of the list. Emily clenched her fists. She had raised nearly $18,000, more than she ever thought possible. But after the email warning about private buyers, she knew it might not be enough. The auctioneer stepped up to the podium. "Welcome, everyone. Let's begin." Dog after dog was called. Some bids were low, others skyrocketed. Each time the gavel struck down, Emily's heart pounded harder. Then finally, next up, Canine Rex, trained in patrol and apprehension. Bidding starts at $5,000. Emily shot up, her voice shaking. $5,000. The auctioneer nodded. "We have 5,000. Do I hear 6? A man in the third row raised his hand. 6,000. Emily's stomach turned. She had expected competition, but not this fast. She took a deep breath. 7,000. 9,000. The man countered without hesitation. Emily's pulse raced. Who was he? 12,000. The security firm representative in the front row raised a finger. 15,000. Emily's breath caught. That was too fast. They weren't going to stop. She squeezed her mother's hand. 16,000. The man in the suit barely blinked. 20,000. Gasps rippled through the room. Emily's hands trembled. That was more than she had. She felt Rex nudge her leg, as if sensing her distress. The auctioneer waited, going once. Emily's heart pounded. This was it. This was how she lost him. Going twice. A deep voice cut through the air. 25,000. Emily spun around. A familiar face stood at the back of the room. Detective Harris, one of her father's closest friends. The security firm rep hesitated. After a tense moment, he shook his head. Sold. The gavel slammed down. Emily gasped, covering her mouth. Detective Harris strode toward her, a small smile on his face. Your dad would want him with you. Tears streamed down her cheeks as he handed her the leash. She knelt, wrapping her arms around Rex. She had won. Rex was finally home. Emily clung to Rex, burying her face in his thick fur as her tears fell freely. The weight of weeks of stress, fear, and uncertainty finally lifted from her chest. She had fought with everything she had, and won, but she hadn't done it alone. She pulled back and looked up at Detective Harris, still in shock. You paid for him. He gave a small smile and nodded. It wasn't just me. A few of your dad's friends pitched in. We weren't about to let some private firm take Rex away. Emily blinked, overwhelmed. She had spent the past few weeks believing she was in this battle alone, but she hadn't realized just how many people had been fighting with her. Her mother wrapped her arms around her, whispering, I told you people cared. The crowd around them clapped and murmured their approval. Officers, local residents, even strangers who had just come to watch the auction had been moved by her story. Emily wiped her tears and turned back to Detective Harris. I don't even know how to thank you. You don't have to, he said gently. Your father was a hero. Rex belongs with you. She glanced down at Rex, who sat obediently by her feet, his tail thumping softly against the floor. He had no idea how close he had come to being taken away. The security firm representative, the man who had bid against her, stepped forward. You really love that dog, huh? His tone wasn't mocking. If anything, it sounded like respect. Emily straightened. He's family. The man nodded slowly. I wasn't bidding because I wanted to take him from you. We buy retired K9s all the time for security work, but I see now that this one already has a job, to be with you. Emily felt a lump in her throat. Even the people she had fought against could see what Rex meant to her. Detective Harris patted her shoulder. Now let's go get Rex home. As they walked out of the auction hall, the sun was setting in the distance, casting golden light over the town. Rex trotted beside her, his ears perked, his eyes scanning the streets like he always had when he was on duty with her father. Emily squeezed his leash. We did it, buddy. We're going home. For the first time since her father's death, she felt at peace. But deep inside, she knew this wasn't the end. If police K9s were truly considered family, then no officer's loved ones should ever have to fight like this again. And she was going to make sure no one else had to. Emily sat on the back porch, watching as Rex stretched out in the grass, his tail wagging lazily. For the first time in weeks, everything felt right. Rex was home. He was safe. But as she scrolled through the hundreds of messages and comments on her fundraiser page, a new thought formed in her mind. She had almost lost Rex because of a broken system, one that treated K9s like equipment instead of family. And if it happened to her, it was happening to others. Her mother stepped outside, holding 2 mugs of tea. You're thinking about something, she said knowingly, handing one to Emily. Emily nodded. Mom, I don't want this to happen to anyone else. Her mother sighed, sitting down beside her. I know, sweetheart, but what can you do? Emily bit her lip. I don't know yet, but I can't just do nothing. She scrolled through the messages again. Some were from people congratulating her. Others were from families who had lost their police dogs to auctions, just like she almost had. Then one message caught her eye. My husband was an officer. After he passed, they sold his K9 partner. We couldn't afford to buy him back. It still breaks my heart. I wish someone would change this. Emily stared at the words, her pulse quickening. Someone had to change this. Why not her? She looked at her mother. What if I used the extra money we raised to help other families? Like start something real? Her mother tilted her head, like a fund for officers' families. Exactly. Emily's mind raced. We raised $18,000, but Detective Harris and Dad's friends covered the auction. That means we have almost all of it left. Her mother exhaled slowly, considering. You could help a lot of people with that. Emily looked at Rex, who was now watching her, head tilted as if waiting for her to make a decision. She already knew what it was. That night, she started working. She changed the fundraiser title to K9s along with their families. Help us stop these auctions. She posted an update. We won the fight for Rex, but many families aren't as lucky. No officer's K9 should be sold to the highest bidder. It's time to change this system, so no one else has to go through what we did. This is just the beginning. Almost immediately, donations surged again. But then, an even bigger surprise. A local senator commented, Emily, your story is powerful. Let's talk. Maybe we can change this law for good. Emily's breath caught. This was more than just saving Rex now. This was a movement, and she wasn't going to stop until every officer's K-9 was protected. A week after the auction, Emily found herself walking into the state capitol building, her heart pounding in her chest. She had never imagined she'd be here, sitting across from lawmakers, fighting for something bigger than herself. But here she was. Rex sat beside her, his ears perked as if he sensed the importance of the moment. His presence gave her strength. Senator Williams, the official who had reached out, leaned forward with interest. Emily, your story has touched thousands. Your fundraiser raised nearly $50,000 in just days. But you didn't stop there. You started a movement. Emily took a deep breath. Because this isn't just about me. It's about every officer's family that has gone through this. No one should have to buy back their loved one's K-9 partner. Senator Williams nodded. That's why I called you here. We want to draft a bill that ensures retired police K-9s are first offered to their handler's family before they go to auction. Emily's heart raced. You mean an actual law? Yes, the senator smiled. With your help, we can make sure no one else has to fight the way you did. A wave of emotion washed over her. All the pain, the struggle, the fear of losing Rex. It had led to this. She glanced down at Rex, who rested his head against her knee, completely unaware of the impact he had made. For her dad, for Rex, for every officer in K-9 that had ever served together, Emily nodded. I'm in. 1 year later, the bill, officially named the K-9 HERO Act, passed with overwhelming support. News stations covered the story. Families across the country reached out to thank Emily for fighting for them. And the best part, no police dog would ever be auctioned away from their handler's family again. Emily sat on the porch, watching Rex chase butterflies in the yard. A framed copy of the new law sat inside, right next to her father's badge. She reached down, ruffling Rex's fur. We did it, buddy. Rex licked her hand in response, his tail wagging. She had fought for him. And in the end, he had changed everything.